All right. Hey, it's Rob, and it's that time again. This is my 13,287 mile update for my 2022 Ford Maverick Ecoboost. This one is iconic silver, front-wheel drive only. All right, I bought this in January, so coming up on a year. With the Maverick, I'll say right off the top of the video here, no complaints. I really haven't had anything go wrong. Nothing that I could point out or say was a real issue with this vehicle. I was in a Facebook group last, January, and there was a salesperson from the dealership I bought this thing from, and he was a member of that group, and he posted and he said, "Hey, I got 4 Mavericks in," and I rushed on down, and there were 3 other people already signing contracts for those Mavericks. So this pretty much was my only option, and as it happened, it had the bare minimum of features that I was interested in having in the Maverick. My non-negotiables: it has the lane departure warning, I forgot what this thing is called again. What is this system called again? Anyway, it's got the little lights in the mirror, and it tells you when there's a car there. It'll come to me in a second. I'm getting old. It'll happen to you someday too. Anyway, so I've got Copilot, 360 Copilot. I got that. I've got the sliding rear window. I've got the inverter, the 400-watt inverter in the armrest, and I've got a full-size spare tire underneath the truck. Of course, I have no idea how to remove it if I need to. Maybe I need to watch someone's YouTube video about that. That'll explain it to me. Anyway, so I signed the contract for this one. I did pay $2,500 over sticker. I know I shouldn't have. Of course, now people are paying, $15,000 over, so it seems like a kind of a good deal at this point. As it happened, I was trading in a Volvo. That Volvo was worth $16,000 not last summer, the summer before, year and a half ago. And by January, by the beginning of this year, it had gone up to like $24,000. So the value of my trade-in vehicle had increased by $8,000, which offset the $2,500 extra that they, gouged me for when I bought the Maverick. So I figured it all came out in the wash. I was still ahead of the game, and I went and purchased the vehicle. I'm a sound engineer, so I drag around a lot of sound equipment in the bed, stands, and I've got a sound little trolley that I use, and equipment cases, etc., etc. And it does just fine. I've added a bunch of stuff to the vehicle since I have owned it. Please let me over. Wouldn't that be nice if you let me over? All right. Thank you very much. Hey, it's starting to rain now. Anyway, so of course I put the tonneau cover on, which you got to have if you're carrying equipment around. I don't leave any equipment in there, but it keeps it fairly dry. Well, not perfectly dry. Still gets wet back there, but good enough. So we've got that going on. I put the Ford bed mat down. That's really nice. I've got the all-weather Maverick floor mats in this vehicle now. I've done some tech updates. I added a wireless CarPlay adapter. I don't use it all that much because I usually want to charge my phone anyway, so as long as I'm doing that, I may as well just plug into CarPlay, with the cable. And I also have added, believe it or not, a CD player to this system, an external CD player. It just looks like a computer drive, but it's an external CD that works with CarPlay, and so far it's been working absolutely perfectly. You can look at my other videos. I've got a whole Ford Maverick playlist. I've made a few dozen videos already about this vehicle, and one of them is how I added the CD player, which is still, like I said, working flawlessly. It's really been doing great. I enjoy being able to pop a CD in here and comes right up on my system and plays just fine. What else have I added? I think that's like the extent of the stuff that I've bought from Ford and other places. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've done so far to this vehicle in the almost 1 year that I have owned it. Again, I got no complaints, and anything that I would even mention, I have already mentioned in some of my other update videos. I guess very quickly I would mention that when you put on the auto stop feature so that you take your foot off the brake at a stoplight, it works great, but if you leave it on and I'm backing out of my driveway, the brakes clamp down. It's terrible. So that feature for me is just a thing that I toggle. If I'm getting bored or a stoplight is excessively long, I'll toggle it, take my foot off and rest for a little bit, and then I'll toggle it off when I am driving again. Fixes the problem. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not, but that's what I have discovered. So it's a very cool feature, but I use it sparingly. Actually, the little button next to it, which is the auto start for the engine, I have no problem with that. So I've had, matter of fact, that Volvo I had was a real harsh transition when it started and stopped. This doesn't even bother me, and my wife likes to turn it off when she gets in the car because, of course, it runs the air conditioning down to minimum at lights, and she wants it pumping all the time. But other than that, I leave that on, and it stops and it starts. Not an issue at all for me, really. Nice, quick, fast truck. I really have, great responsive pickup in this vehicle with the Ecoboost. 250 horsepower. I have no issues with that whatsoever. I mean, this truck is actually faster than it needs to be. It doesn't need to have all this power, but for whatever reason it does. And besides a little wheel hop at the front that you get, especially today on a rainy day, it's fun. It's fast, fun, cool to cruise around in. Any other issues I have with this vehicle? The standard complaints about the stereo. It doesn't sound great. Although in another video I showed you that when I added this wireless CarPlay dongle, the stereo actually sounded better. So I'm not sure if it's some digital processing. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it is. Some sort of digital processing that it introduces into the system when you transmit wirelessly, and for whatever reason it sounds better than what's inside the stereo to me. You get a little more bass. It sounds a little more balanced out overall, and I can crank it up even a little louder, I think, when I use that wireless attachment that I added on here. So that's kind of interesting. But besides the sound of the stereo, yes, once every couple months it will freeze up. I will have to reset it by pushing the volume knob and the fast forward button, and it comes back up again, and it's annoying. Sometimes it'll just freeze up for a second or lock me out of something, or I'll turn the volume up a little bit and it'll go all the way to 30. Crazy stuff like that. New thing is, once the transmission selector locked on me, I started the truck, tried to move it, it wouldn't move at all. I simply turned off the truck and started it up again, and it worked fine. I'm not sure what was up with that. Again, nothing I feel like I need to investigate or worry about at this point, but that's a thing that happened. And other than that, running great, driving great, no issues, tires are nice that came with it, no immediate concerns or needs to change anything out at this point. Right now, I haven't changed the fuel economy, haven't reset that on the dash in a while, and it's showing me 28.6 miles per gallon, perfectly acceptable. I get between 29 and maybe 31 if I'm on a long highway trip. Again, that's great. If I was on the highway in the hybrid, I'd get maybe 33 or 34. It wouldn't be that much of a difference. Of course, around town, you do much better with the hybrid, but you sacrifice the performance and the simplicity, and I've gone into it many times, but we all know there are more issues with the hybrid, and they're fixable and whatever, the battery cable, etc., etc., but, there definitely are more issues with the hybrid as far as reliability, whereas the Ecoboost, I mean, this is kind of like a tried and true system. It's a Ford Focus underneath there, and all the running gear is the same that's on the Escape or whatever else. So really no concerns as far as it being a first year vehicle. No rattles, no squeaks, no concerns, nothing that's gone out of alignment or, started to degrade performance-wise. Everything's perfect. Seats are super comfortable. They're firm. I like them. I got no problems with them. Comfortable on a long trip. All right. Well, I've been driving, so that is now the 13,290.1 mile update of my 2022 Ford Maverick. I am turning for home, so signing off for now. Thank you as always for watching my channel and supporting me. I check and see who watches videos and what they watch, and by and large they watch videos about this Maverick XLT, and it's kind of cool that I'm documenting its whole life on YouTube. We'll see how far we get with it. I tend to rotate my vehicles fairly often, but I'm planning on hanging on to this one. So we'll see how many miles I can rack up in this thing. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. We'll see you soon.